Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious homemade blackberry pound cake from scratch. This cake is made with fresh blackberries, which have been pureed, and we add that into the cake along with our butter, eggs, sugar, and flour. And then after the cake is baked, we take the blackberry puree and we add that into the icing, creating a delicious and flavorful butter vanilla blackberry icing to go right on top. This recipe you can get about 18 to 20 or possibly more servings, all depending on how you slice it. Has a wonderful blackberry flavor, absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you'll need to make your homemade blackberry pound cake. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need some all-purpose flour or cake flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, unsalted butter at room temperature, large eggs at room temperature, whole milk at room temperature, sour cream at room temperature, 8 ounces of fresh blackberries, vanilla extract, butter extract, cake batter extract. Now, if you don't have the cake batter extract, you can omit it from the recipe. And some confectioner sugar. And for your tools, you will need a small food processor, a mesh strainer, and to bake your cake, you will need some Baker's Joy non-stick baking spray and a Fat Daddy-O tube pan. This is a 15 cup in capacity tube pan. You can also use a bundt pan as well, like Nordic Ware Anniversary Bundt Pan. And there we have it.
Alright, let's get straight to it. I've placed my blackberries into this mesh strainer. I'm going to rinse the blackberries off with cold water. Okay, let's get started with pureeing our blackberries. So in the small food processor, add 6 to 8 ounces in weight of the blackberries into the food processor. Blend this for 30 seconds. Alright, that looks good. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started with cooking our blackberry puree. So in the small pot, add your blackberry puree into the small pot. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. Stir all your ingredients together. Let this simmer for 4 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 4 minutes now. And our puree has cooked down some. Now you're going to go ahead and turn your fire off. Let this cool until it's warm or let it cool completely. You can also make this 1 to 2 days in advance. Okay, let's get started with the dry ingredients for our cake. So in this mesh strainer with a medium-sized bowl underneath it, add 3 cups of all-purpose flour or cake flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Sift all the ingredients into this medium-sized bowl. Stir all your ingredients together. Alright, let's get started with our wet ingredients. So in a separate medium-sized bowl, add a 1/2 cup of whole milk at room temperature, 2/3 cup of sour cream at room temperature. Before we add the blackberry puree, reserve 1 tablespoon of the blackberry puree. Put that in a small bowl and set that on the side, as we're going to add that into the icing later. Add all of the blackberry puree into the medium-sized bowl. And along with that, you're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of butter extract, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cake batter extract. Now, if you don't have the cake batter extract, you can omit it from the recipe. Okay? I'm going to take my whisk and stir all the ingredients together. Alright, let's get started with the preparation of our cake batter. So in our stand mixer bowl, fitted with the paddle attachment, You can also use a hand mixer as well. Add 3 sticks of unsalted butter, softened and at room temperature, and 2 3/4 cups of sugar. Start your mixer on a medium-low speed just to get that butter and sugar incorporated. Turn your mixer up to the highest setting and mix this on high speed for 6 minutes. At some point during those 6 minutes, you're going to stop your mixer and scrape down the sides of your bowl. Continue mixing that in. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Start your mixer on a medium speed and add 5 large eggs in at room temperature, one at a time. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Okay, now we're going to alternate the all-purpose flour or cake flour mixture and the blackberry cream mixture into the batter. Now we're only adding the dry wet ingredients in here 3 separate times. We're not doing any measurements at this time. Add the first amount of the all-purpose flour or cake flour mixture and the first amount of the blackberry cream mixture. Mix this on a medium-low speed for about 15 to 20 seconds or until combined. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add the second amount of the all-purpose flour or cake flour mixture and the second amount of the blackberry cream mixture. Mix this on a medium-low speed for about 15 to 20 seconds or until combined. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add the third amount of the all-purpose flour or cake flour mixture and the third amount of the blackberry cream mixture. Mix this on a medium-low speed for about 15 to 20 seconds or until combined. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl and our blackberry pound cake batter is now ready. Spray your tube pan or bundt pan with the Baker's Joy non-stick baking spray. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 325 degrees. Carefully add your prepared blackberry pound cake batter into the tube pan. Spread the batter around the tube pan as evenly as possible with a spatula. To make the batter more even, shake your pan and tap it at the bottom with your hand. Now it is ready to be baked. Place this into a preheated 325-degree oven on the middle rack. Bake this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Alright, it's been about 1 hour and 10 minutes now for our blackberry pound cake. Let's remove this out of the oven. Toothpick inserted into the cake. Should come out clean. Let this cool for 3 to 4 hours before removing it out of the tube pan. Okay, here I have a flat baking pan. I'm going to flip the cake over onto the baking pan. Here I have a cake serving pad, and I'm going to place that at the bottom of the cake, and I'm going to flip it back over. And there we go. I'm going to take a serrated knife and I'm going to trim off the edge of the cake going all around. That makes sure that the icing free falls to the side. I should have done this earlier. So first I'm going to take my cake and I'm going to place it onto this cooling rack with a pan underneath it. So when you flip the cake over for the second time, you're going to flip it onto the cooling rack instead of flipping it over onto the cake pad. All right, let's get started with straining our blackberry puree. Here I have a mesh strainer with a very small glass bowl underneath it. Remember that 1 tablespoon of blackberry puree that I told you to reserve earlier? Add that into the mesh strainer and make sure it's at room temperature. I'm going to take a spatula and stir and press the blackberry puree into the mesh strainer, and the blackberry juice is going to drain into that small glass bowl like how you see here. Mixture will be a little thick, that is normal. And once done, you should have about 2 teaspoons of blackberry puree left over in the small glass bowl. Alright, let's get started with making our blackberry icing. So in this small bowl, add 1 1/4 cups of confectioner sugar, 3 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter, 3 tablespoons of warm whole milk, 2 teaspoons of blackberry puree, a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of butter extract, and a very light sprinkle of salt, just to bring out all the flavors. I'm going to take my whisk and stir this until the icing is creamy and smooth with no visible lumps. Take your blackberry icing and pour it on top of the cake. Make sure you try to get into the middle and on the sides of the cake. Take a spatula and spread the icing around the top of the cake. As the icing free falls toward the sides, take your spatula and glide the icing onto the sides of the cake. And there we go, all done. Let the icing set for about 15 to 30 minutes, and after that, the cake is ready to be served. Now to transport the cake, you're going to take 2 spatulas, place them underneath the cake, carefully lift up, and place the cake onto a serving pad. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut you a slice. Wow, look at how beautiful and moist that looks. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Homemade blackberry pound cake, made from scratch by a New Orleans native. You can find this recipe, along with all of my other recipes, go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews.
Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and try this. There it is there. Oh yeah. I really like the flavor of this cake. It has a wonderful blackberry flavor. It's moist. It's a little bit on the dense side, all right? And the cake, both the cake and the icing just have an equal amount of blackberry flavor. It's really good, moist, and delicious. So, give the recipe a try. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Peace.